Hey everybody, Bill here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special video. I'm joined by two of my clients, Mike and Christy, and today we're going to give them a chance to tell their story. So they just finished goat camp with their dog Caspian, and they have a really amazing story filled with progress, and it's definitely an emotional one. So I wanted to kind of give them a platform to tell their story and hopefully find somebody out there that might be going through something similar and know that help is out there.
It was never our intention to have 3 dogs. We found out that the family that we got our other cattle dog from was having their last litter, and we thought it was a great opportunity to get Dakota, our other cattle dog, a friend in the event that our older dog, or when our older dog passed away, because he was getting old, he was starting to have some health issues, and he actually made it another couple years unexpectedly.
And yeah, I mean, we're just getting him and kind of throwing him into a house that had 2 toddlers and a senior dog, a 3-year-old dog, and just the chaos of life. He never got the proper training that we should have given him. Life kind of got away from us, and we were focusing on our senior dog and our children, and I just think that he kept trying to make a place for himself, and definitely I know I rewarded him with extra love to try and make up for that, and no pun intended, came and bit me in the ass for that. But letting him in too deeply and not giving him those boundaries and direction has led us to where we were, or we got to. And I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, I think there were definitely signs. We could tell he was anxious. You know, he had nipped a couple other people. So there were signs. We didn't see them. We didn't see the signs. I didn't think he needed help. But then obviously this happened, and we realized that we needed to do something if we were going to give him a second chance.
Yeah, I mean, all those other incidences weren't, I don't think, big enough. And this last one that sent me to the ER was very eye-opening, and we knew it was a matter of life or death for him. Because if we didn't get him the help, then we were gonna have to say goodbye. And it just broke my heart. I don't know, can't imagine doing that. It was just really hard, and I know a lot of people don't get that as an outsider, but I guess just as dog owners and huge animal lovers, we knew we had to give them a chance and find somebody that would help us, and we were blessed to come across Bill.
Before we met, what was your biggest fear or concern regarding Caspian's behavior, especially after the incident with the bite?
It happening again?
Probably it happening again, or it happening to our children.
The neighbors' children, anybody that comes over, yeah.
What were you told by other professionals, including vets and trainers, about Caspian's behavior? What labels were used?
Well, the first person we saw was the vet, and she was very scared when I first met her after, you know, Caspian bit Christy, and she made it very clear that he should be put down. And I could sense her fear when she was talking to me about it. And then we went to another place that suggests the same thing, right?
Pretty much that he was unfixable, that there was no guarantees, that it was strictly, that's just how he was.
Seemed like we didn't have really any other options.
Can you describe the feeling of being told that you might have to put Caspian down? What was that like emotionally?
It was hard. It was hard for both of us. He's young, you know, we got him when he was really young. And then I think after we thought about it, we both realized that we didn't really give him a chance, you know, to succeed. You know, we didn't do the proper training initially, and so we felt like we had to, at least we owed it to him to give him that chance.
And he's a family member, so yeah, we just wanted to give him the opportunity to, I guess, have another fighting chance, that we owed it to him.
What were some specific examples of behaviors that led to those labels, and how did you perceive them at the time?
it was kind of, I mean, in the moment, it was hard to wrap my head around anything besides like processing just exactly what happened to me. But I mean, the labels, it was just kind of like, it reminded me of just like how people are bullied and people are just like, just given these names because of one incident and that they can't change. And I don't think that's fair to just put a label from one incident happening on a dog, knowing that there could be triggers or there could be other things that could be causing the behavior.
Yeah, which we weren't sure, and I don't think anybody that we talked to really knew what the problem was. It was just, why is he here? You know?
So looking back, what do you now understand about the difference between aggression and unpredictability and anxiety and reactivity that you didn't understand then?
To me, when I think of an aggressive dog, I do think of a dog that bites. So yes, I do think that initially we thought that he was aggressive, but doing more research and talking to you and learning that he truly isn't, that he does have triggers. And as long as we're mindful about that, you know, with behavior and training and just paying attention and being optimistic that there is a way around it.
Yeah, I don't think we knew anything about him up until we started with you. You know, I mean, we knew he was a dog, we knew he was a cattle dog, but we learned so much in the last, 2 weeks about him, what type of dog he is, what problems he had. Yeah. So,
what made you decide to work with me after receiving such dire advice from other people?
I think when you and I first talked, I felt like we were looking for what we wanted to hear because all we were hearing was to put him down. And when you and I spoke, you informed us that there are other options and that we really need to understand what Caspian is going through, what type of dog he is in order for him to heal. So once we heard that, it gave us some hope when all we were hearing was, to put him down.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the other trainers were more about just give me your dog for 2 weeks, give me your money, and we'll hope for the best. And it had no intention of involving us in the training itself. And that's what we liked about your training, is that you did the one-on-one with us. So we were working directly with him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily about trying to fix him. It was truly just learning his behavior and trying to teach him right from wrong.
What was your initial impression of my approach to Caspian's behavior, particularly regarding his anxiety and his resource guarding?
I guess just it was intense at first for me because I couldn't even touch him, which, as I stated, I was giving him extra love to try and make him feel more welcome into the household. But the fact of starting from ground zero and just kind of almost redoing his way of thinking and his place and us becoming in charge. Again, taking charge of the situation.
Yeah, because we were told that the things that we're doing right now isn't a way to live. That's what one of the people told us. It's not a lifestyle that you should live or that your dog should live. And then once we went through the program, we realized we can live this way, especially if we're going to give him another chance.
Can you describe the aha moment during the program when you realized Caspian's behavior wasn't what you initially thought?
I think it was seeing his progress over the short time that we were here, comparing that to day one, how he was when we walked in here, and then over the last couple weeks, how comfortable he got, how happy he was. You could see his tail wagging as opposed to nervousness. So just kind of seeing the day-to-day progress in the short period of time.
What specific tools or techniques did you find most helpful in addressing Caspian's anxiety and resource guarding?
I'd probably say the wording, like what we would say to him, and just setting him up for routine, like what's his new normal would be.
Yeah, knowing that he's up here and we need to keep him down here with whatever we're doing, whether if it's walking, training him, just kind of reeling him back down.
How did learning about canine body language and communication change your understanding of Caspian's behavior?
Yes, looking for those triggers, just before they even happen, knowing that you can look at him and when he just perks his head up, just kind of already being one step ahead of it.
Yeah, because like you said, we've seen this for a couple years. We just didn't know, we didn't acknowledge it.
Just doing it properly.
Right, yeah, knowing the cat can be a trigger, knowing, all these little things can set him off. So we have to make sure that, like you said, we have him under control, reel him back in.
What was the most surprising thing you learned about Caspian during our training process?
I think how quickly he changed. I mean, it's been a complete 180 I feel like. I mean, he's obviously not 100% yet, but just how much he's changed in the 2 weeks that we've been here.
That he is a good boy.
Yeah.
That, you know, just with like some teaching and learning, that I think he'll definitely get there.
Yeah.
How would you describe Caspian's behavior now compared to before we started working together?
Like you said, it's definitely flipped. I mean, before it was kind of a free-for-all and he could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And now he's, you know, getting into a routine. Every morning we go down and he knows he goes straight to his bed and gets tethered and goes right back to sleep, and waiting for his food, he sits down. Going outside, he sits down. I mean, there's just definitely changes that have been made that we don't even have to ask for, that are just becoming routine. And
yeah, his anxiety levels come down a lot. He looks for us now for the way he should be acting, as opposed to kind of doing whatever he wants to do. He's very, I mean, he looks at us all the time now. Like, what do I do next? What do I do next?
What advice would you give to other dog owners who are struggling with similar behavioral challenges, such as reactivity, anxiety, resource guarding, aggression, and they're feeling hopeless?
I think just do exactly what we did. Search for, you know, talk to as many people as possible, and just know that, you know, putting a dog down isn't the only option. I think that's one of the biggest things that we took from this is, like, you know, there are other options out there.
there are. And, you know, if you want to, you just have to put the time and effort into the training and make it a priority.
What do you think is the most important thing dog owners should look for when seeking professional help for their dog's behavioral problems?
That they want to fix the behavior, that they want to work on the behavior instead of the quick fix or medicine. Like just getting down to the root of the problem and focusing on that.
What is the biggest takeaway you have learned from this entire experience with Caspian?
There is hope.
Yeah, he is a good dog. He didn't do anything maliciously. And again, once we started to learn about the type of dog he is, that's when we realized that, you know, we can keep him around.
Despite what other professionals have told you, is Caspian aggressive?
No, I don't think he is.
No.
Okay, that was an emotional story, and it's really, really hard not to get emotional when you hear somebody describe their story with such authenticity, with such vulnerability, and it's just, I'm so thankful to Mike and Christy for being willing to share their story with me publicly here on this channel, because I know that they aren't alone in this. I know that there are so many people out there that have been told their dog is unfixable, untrainable, needs to be heavily drugged and medicated, because that's a scary trend in the dog training world, right? In the dog world in general, is that if it's behind or beyond a scope of one trainer, they are so quick to judge the dog itself because they can't help, so the dog is not fixable, right? So if you've been told that, don't just take one trainer's word for it. There's a lot of dog trainers out there that don't really know how to deal with heavy behavioral conditions such as anxiety, fear, reactivity, aggression, resource guarding. Make sure you talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about and can help you appropriately. Again, major thanks to Mike and Christy. They are both amazing, dedicated dog owners. I'm incredibly thankful that we connected, because together we were able to come together and help Caspian, because he's not an aggressive dog. He's not a bad dog. He's a really good dog that didn't get a fair chance at life, and now he does. So if you sound anything like that, if that sounds like your story, feel free to reach out to me. Always, I'm here to help. No matter where you are, we can figure this out. If you're too far away from me and you want something else, reach out to somebody. Don't take no for an answer just because one trainer says so. As always, if you liked this video, please show some love, give it a like, comment any questions you have below, and as always, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.